Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the atmosphere of our world around us, and today we will discuss about the recent events which took place in the western Poland, southwest Poland, and in the border region between Poland and Germany. People who are from this region, they know most likely what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the huge ecological catastrophe, the pollution of Oder River with organic derivatives of mercury, because mercury as a metal itself, it's not so dangerous as people can think for our health, but organic derivatives unfortunately are not so safe. They are very, very dangerous, neurotoxic, because they can cross the barrier, blood-brain barrier. And unfortunately, this contamination on a large scale uh, happened to the Oder River, but it happened most likely because of simple reasons, simply negligence, corruption, because utilization of such wastes, dangerous chemical waste, costs. So corruption, greed, and negligence. And of course, corruption I also mean as permission from the authorities to continue deposition of these wastes in a not allowed way, non-professional way, that later, of course, led to the disaster, because these wastes were slowly being released to the waters of the river. And this catastrophe, of course, occurred much earlier than media reported. Media reported something at the turn of June, July this year, but now there are reports of witnesses that entire issue took place on a smaller scale, of course, initially earlier. So, what can we learn from this case? From this case, we can learn that negligence, corruption, stupidity, and greed lead to the catastrophe. Unfortunately, this time huge one. And we can learn another thing, especially with a good connection with the last 2 years of madness with Chinese micro friend, that if something serious is happening, that can be regarded as a real threat to our health, governments are silencing everything. Government of Poland was quiet for long. Even government of Germany was quiet for long, because Oder River is largely the river that constitutes the border between two states. So no one will tell me that German people, especially their chemical and environmental workers who investigate the state of the waters in their rivers, they didn't know. For some time, they were quiet. They were silencing the problem, both sides. Why? Because this is unfortunately, especially to governments that have a socialist mentality, this is unfortunately the case, that real problem is being silenced, because no one wants to take responsibility, and the ones who rule are incompetent and they don't know what to do. First they need to find somebody to fix the problem or somebody to blame. The same was with Chernobyl disaster. The same was with many other disasters, also in the Western world, unfortunately, especially with the wastes, with the leak of the wastes, like here with this mercury derivatives. And mercury derivatives are very dangerous, and unfortunately we also had really brutal example in 1950s, when in Japan some fishermen village were also poisoned by organic mercury waste. Many people were damaged. Government was also not for few days Luckily not for a few weeks like in the case of Poland and Germany this time, but for long few days, not confirming the threat that was coming. So we see that unfortunately this practice happens in many places quite often. So when something is serious and it's really dangerous, government, at least for some time, governments are silencing the problem. But if something is not so serious but someone wants to have benefits from it, governments are unfortunately blowing up, talking about the problem. Uh, I would say even advertising the problem really aggressively, and later they advertise, in quotation, solutions for two reasons: to limit people's freedom, what we experience, and to earn on some specific, in quotation, remedies that in many cases, luckily not in all, not in everywhere, people were forced to take, regardless of their real efficiency or no efficiency against the very important problem that was advertised in media, and regardless of their safety towards our health. Because when people are scared by this advertising of a problem by governments and corporations which want to earn on it, no one takes care about health and so on. Now we see that due to these remedies allegedly against famous friend from the east, far east, now we have first trials in the courts and so on and so on. Typical procedure, but for the first, especially 1.5 year, everyone who was thinking differently was silenced. Problem, in quotation, was not silenced because governments and corporations wanted to earn on it and gain more power over people. And that's why it happened as it happened. We can recall it, yeah, nice connection. But now on a local scale, we have a really huge environmental disaster, and everyone was quiet for long, and it would last longer if not many reports of people released about the dead fish and really a huge ecological disaster, many dead fish in the river. Take care, have a nice day, and I wish you good conclusions. And please observe the facts and make conclusions. All the best, have a nice day.